You are the operant power. You, not them, not circumstances, not time, not the past, not their personality, not their choices, not their will. You. I know why you clicked on this. You've been treating someone else as though they hold the cards. You've been watching them, waiting for them to change, to soften, to choose you, to see you, to come back. You've been living as though their thoughts and feelings are outside of your control, as though you are subject to their free will, hoping they will finally turn in your direction. And Neville Goddard tells you something that sounds impossible, something that every fiber of your conditioned mind wants to reject. The person you desire is not operating independently of you. They are not making decisions in some separate reality. They are new pushed out, and that means you, right now, are the one determining how they think of you, how they feel about you, and what they do in relation to you. You are their world, not in some poetic metaphorical sense, not as encouragement to feel better about yourself. In the most literal, radical, and metaphysical sense Neville could articulate, consciousness is the only reality. And you are that consciousness. The person before you is a part of your world, a figure within your consciousness, and they must conform to your assumption about them. They have no choice in the matter. That is what this episode is about. Not techniques to manipulate someone, not strategies to get them to text you back, but the full unveiling of what Neville meant when he said you are the operant power in your reality, and how that applies to the person you have been placing on a pedestal, giving authority to, waiting on. We are going to go deep into what Neville actually taught about specific persons. We are going to face the paradox of free will head on, the way Neville himself did, and you will hear his answer, not the watered-down version, not the cautious version, and by the end you will know exactly what to do tonight as you close your eyes. You will know how to step into the seat of power you have always occupied, but have been too afraid or too conditioned to claim. Let's begin. Welcome. If this is your first time here, this channel is dedicated entirely to the teachings of Neville Goddard, one of the most profound and uncompromising mystics of the 20th century. We do not mix his teachings with other philosophies. We do not dilute them. We go straight to the source, to what Neville said, and we apply it. Today we are addressing one of the most searched, most misunderstood, and most emotionally charged topics in the entire Neville community, manifesting a specific person. But we are not going to treat this like a shallow desire. We are going to honor the depth of what you're really asking. Because when you say you want a specific person, what you're really saying is, I feel powerless in the face of another's will. I feel like love is something that happens to me, not something I author. I feel separate. And Neville's teaching is a direct answer to that separation. This episode will make clear, once and for all, that you are not at the mercy of anyone. You are not hoping for someone to change. You are the one who changes them by changing yourself. You are the operant power. And we're going to explore exactly what that means and exactly what you do with it. Let us begin with the foundation, the cornerstone upon which every other principle rests. Consciousness is the only reality. Neville said this over and over in nearly every lecture, because it is the master key. If you do not start here, nothing else makes sense. If you do start here, everything becomes possible. What does it mean? It means that the world you see, the people you interact with, the circumstances that surround you are not independent external facts. They are outpicturings of your own consciousness. Your consciousness is not inside your head, reacting to a world outside of you. Your consciousness is not inside your head, reacting to a world outside of you. Your consciousness is the substance, the cause, the foundation of everything you experience. Neville put it plainly, the world is your post. Now let us bring this directly into the question of a specific person. You have someone in your life, or someone you want in your life. Maybe they have hurt you. Maybe they have left. Maybe they have left. Maybe they are cold, indifferent, involved with someone else. Maybe they have said words that cut you deeply, that made you feel unworthy or rejected. And you have been treating those words, those actions, as facts, as evidence of who they are independent of you. But Neville would ask you, who is perceiving those actions? Who is interpreting those words? Who is aware of that coldness? You are. And if you are the one perceiving it, you are the one generating it, not because you wanted it consciously, but because it conforms to the state of consciousness you have been occupying. Perhaps a state of unworthiness, perhaps a state of longing and lack, perhaps a state of fear that they do not want you, that you are not enough, that they have moved on. That state, that assumption, that inner conviction, however hidden or denied, has pushed out into your world and clothed itself in the behavior of this person. They are not doing anything to you. They are showing you what you believe. I know this is hard to hear. It sounds like blame. It sounds like you are being told it is your fault. But it is not about fault. It is not about fault. It is about power. If you caused it, even unconsciously, you can change it. If they caused it, you are helpless. If you have, Neville is handing you the keys to the kingdom, and you keep trying to give them back because you would rather believe in their independence than claim your own power. Let me take you into a story. Neville shared many testimonies over the years, stories sent to him by students who applied this very principle. I am not quoting one verbatim here, but I am giving you the essence of what happened again and again. A woman wrote to Neville. Her husband had left her. He had been cold for months. Then one day he packed his things and moved in with another woman. He told her he did not love her any more. He told her it was over. He would not return her calls. When she saw him, he looked through her as though she were a stranger. She came to Neville's lectures. She heard him say, "You are the operant power." She heard him say, "He is yourself pushed out." And she wanted to argue. She wanted to say, "But he left me. He chose someone else." He said those words. Neville said, "It does not matter what he said. It matters what you assume. If you assume he loves you, he must. If you assume he is cold, he must be cold. You are the one determining his attitude toward you." She decided to test it. Every night before sleep, she imagined a scene that would imply her husband had returned, that he loved her, that they were together again. She did not imagine him coming back. She imagined the end, the result. She felt his arms around her. She heard him say, "I love you." She wore a wedding ring in her imagination and felt its weight. She did this every night, and during the day, whenever the old thoughts came, the thoughts of rejection and loss, she gently turned away from them. She refused to give them the power of her attention. Weeks passed, then one evening he called. His voice was different, softer. He asked if he could see her. She said yes. He came over. He cried. He said he did not know what had happened, but he could not stop thinking about her. He said he had made a mistake. He said he wanted to come home. And he did. Now, you might say, perhaps he was already having doubts. Perhaps the other relationship was not working. Perhaps he would have come back anyway. And Neville would say, of course. That is how it works. Consciousness does not override the world, it authors it. The bridge of incidents, the chain of events that brought him back, all of it was orchestrated by her assumption. She did not force him. She did not manipulate him. She became the woman whose husband loves her and wants to be with her, and the world rearranged itself to reflect that. He had no choice but to conform, because he is not separate from her consciousness. This is where we must speak plainly about what Neville taught regarding the so-called free will of others, because this is the question that torments people the most. If I assume something about someone, am I violating their free will? Am I controlling them? Is that ethical? Is it even possible? Neville was asked this question many times, and his answer was always the same. There is no other. Let me say that again, because it is the answer to everything. There is no other. There is only God, only consciousness, only the one being all the parts. The person you see before you is not a separate, independent consciousness making free choices in a vacuum. They are a part of your world, an aspect of your own consciousness, reflecting back to you what you believe to be true. When you change your concept of them, they must change. Not because you have stolen their will, but because they never had a separate will to begin with. There is only one will, one imagination, one consciousness, and you are it. Neville said it explicitly in his 1948 lectures. He said, "You are told to love your neighbor as yourself, not because your neighbor is like you, but because your neighbor is you. The whole vast world is yourself pushed out. When you know this, you will stop asking permission to imagine what you want. You will stop worrying about whether it is right to assume someone loves you. You will realize that you are simply choosing which version of them you will experience. and that Persian has always been your choice. Now I can already hear the objection rising in you. But they feel so real. They have their own thoughts, their own personality, their own history. How can they just be me? Neville would say, of course they feel real. You are a magnificent creator. You have imagined them so vividly, so consistently, that they appear independent. But appearance is not reality. Consciousness is reality. And in consciousness, all things are you. Think of it this way. When you dream at night, you populate your dream with people. They speak, they act, they seem to have their own motives. But when you wake, you realize they were all you. They were all figures within your own mind, expressions of your own consciousness. You were dreaming them. Neville says you are dreaming now. This waking world is a dream, but a dream nonetheless. And everyone in it, including the specific person you desire, is a character in your dream. You are the dreamer. When you assume something new about them, you are not forcing them to comply. You are dreaming a different dream. And in that dream, they are already the person you have assumed them to be. Let me give you Neville's own words, as best as I can recall them from his lectures. He said, if you want to know whether you can change someone, I tell you, have no choice but to change them. You cannot see them independent of your concept of them. If you think they are kind, you will see kindness. If you think they are cruel, you will see cruelty. You are always seeing your own assumptions reflected, so stop trying to change them and change your assumption. The change in them will follow automatically. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. And here is where the teaching becomes deeply millerating. You have been giving this person so much power. You have been checking your phone, waiting for their message. You have been analyzing their words, looking for signs. You have been asking friends what they think it means. You have been scrolling through their social media, looking for clues. All of that is worship. You have made them your God. And Neville tells you, you are God. Not them, you. The moment you accept this, everything changes. You stop looking to them for validation, for love, for a sign. You go within. You imagine the end. You feel it real. You assume they are already yours, already in love with you, already committed, already warm and present and devoted. And you rest in that assumption, not because you are trying to make it happen, but because you know it is already true in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. This is what it means to be the operant power. You are not waiting for conditions to change so you can feel loved. You are not waiting for conditions to change so you can feel loved. You are in imagination, and conditions must follow. Let us go deeper. Let us address what happens when the person has done something that feels unforgivable. Maybe they betrayed you. Maybe they lied. Maybe they humiliated you. Maybe they humiliated you. Maybe they are with someone else right now, and the thought of it burns. Neville would say, forgive them. Not because they deserve it, but because holding on to that image of them is holding you in a state of separation and pain. And that state will continue to push out a world in which they are the villain and you are the victim. Forgiveness, in Neville's teaching, is not about condoning what happened. It is about revising it. It is about going back into your imagination and replaying the scene differently. Imagine they did not betray you. Imagine they were faithful. Imagine they were faithful. Imagine they were twos you had gone. Imagine they were faithful. Imagine the conversation went the way you wish it had gone. Imagine they chose you. Do this until the revised version feels more real than the original. This is not denial. This is creation. You are not pretending the past did not happen. You are changing the past, because the past only exists as a memory in your consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. When you change the memory, you change the foundation upon which the present is built, and the present must shift. I once heard of a woman who did this with extraordinary results. Her partner had cheated on her. She found the messages. She confronted him. He admitted it. The relationship ended in rage and heartbreak. For months, she replayed the scene in her mind, feeling the betrayal over and over. Then she learned revision from Neville. She decided to revise the entire situation. She imagined that when she looked at his phone, there were no messages. She imagined that when she asked him, he looked at her with love and said, "There is no one else. There has never been anyone else. You are the only one I want." She imagined him holding her and reassuring her. She did this every night. She revised the confrontation, the breakup, all of it. She rewrote the story in her imagination. Within weeks he reached out. He apologized deeply and sincerely. He told her he did not know why he had done what he did, that it felt like a terrible dream, and that he wanted to prove to her that she was the only one. He asked for another chance. She gave it to him. And this time the relationship was different. Because she was different, she had stopped being the woman who was betrayed. She had become the woman who was cherished. And he, being her world, pushed out, had no choice but to reflect that. This is the power you hold. This is what it means to be the operant power. Now let us speak about self-concept, because this is where most people stumble. They try to imagine the other person loving them, but underneath they do not believe they are worthy of that love. They do not believe they are desirable, lovable enough, and so the assumption does not take root, it withers, because you cannot sustain an assumption about another person that contradicts your assumption about your assumption about your sums. Neville said, "You cannot give yourself what you do not believe you are. If you believe you are unwanted, you will push out unwanted. If you believe you are second choice, you will push out second choice. If you believe you are not enough, the world will agree with you. The work, then, is not just imagining them loving you. The work is imagining yourself as someone who is loved, as someone who is desired, as someone who is chosen, cherished, adored. This is not arrogance. This is not arrogance. This is not arrogance. This is not arrogance. This is taught. You are the operant power. You are God in human form. You are the consciousness in which all things arise. Of course you are worthy of love. Of course you are enough. You are everything. When you begin to live from that state, when you walk through the world knowing, not hoping, that you are loved, the specific person has no choice but to reflect that back to you. Let me tell you what to do, practically, tonight. Because this is not just a teaching to be understood. It is a technique to be practiced. Tonight as you lie in your bed, after you have turned off the lights and the room is quiet, you are going to do what Neville called the state akin to sleep. You are going to relax your body completely. Feel the weight of your limbs sinking into the mattress. Let your breathing slow. Let your mind begin to drift, but do not fall asleep yet. Hover in that drowsy borderland state where imagination is most potent. Now from that state you are going to construct a scene. A simple short scene that implies the relationship with your specific person is exactly as you want it to be. Do not imagine the journey. Do not imagine the journey. Do not imagine them texting you, or apologizing, or asking you out. Imagine the end. Imagine the wish fulfilled. Perhaps you imagine lying beside them and feeling their warmth. Perhaps you imagine them saying, "I love you," and you saying it back. Perhaps you imagine wearing a ring, or hearing a friend congratulate you, or seeing their name on your phone as your partner. Choose one scene. Make it sensory. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel physically? Now loop that scene. Play it over and over, gently, easily, as though you are remembering something that has already happened. Do not strain. Do not force. Let it be natural. Let it be pleasant. And as you loop it, feel the reality of it. Feel the joy. Feel the joy. Feel the satisfaction of knowing it is done. Do this until you fall asleep. Let that scene be the last thing in your consciousness as you drift off. You are impressing your subconscious with the state of the wish fulfilled. And the subconscious, which Neville called the servant, will go to work to harden that impression into fact. This is the practice. This is what Neville did, what his students did, what everyone who has proven this law has done. It is simple. It is free. And it works. But here is the key. You must do it from the state of the wish fulfilled, not from the state of wanting it fulfilled. If you do this exercise and you feel longing, you are doing it wrong. If you feel desperate, you are doing it wrong. If you feel desperate, you are doing it wrong. You must do it from the feeling of already having it, from relief, from satisfaction, from the quiet, calm knowing that it is done. If you cannot feel that yet, then begin with self-concept. Begin by imagining a scene that implies you are loved, you are wanted, you are adored, without reference to any specific person. Imagine a friend saying to you, "You are so loved." Imagine looking in the mirror and feeling beautiful, magnetic, whole. Build that foundation first, because once you know you are loved, the specific person loving you is just a detail. It is inevitable. Let me take you higher now into the deeper reason why this teaching matters. Because yes, you want this person. Yes, you want the relationship. But Neville is teaching you something far greater than how to attract one individual. He is teaching you who you are. You are not a human being hoping to be loved by another human being. You are infinite consciousness, individualized, imagining all of this into being. You are the author of your reality. Every person, every circumstance, every event is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out. When you realize this, truly realize it, you become free. You are no longer at the mercy of the world. You are the world. You are not subject to conditions. You are the creator of conditions. And love, which you have been seeking outside yourself, is revealed to be what you are. You do not need this person to love you so that you can feel whole. You are already whole. You are already love itself. The relationship you desire is simply one expression of that love, one experience you are choosing to have, because it delights you. Neville often quoted from the Bible, not as religion, but as mystical psychology. He loved the book of John, especially the verse, "I and my Father are one." He said this means your imagination and God are one. Your consciousness is God. When you imagine something and feel it real, you are doing what God does. You are creating. And if you are creating, then nothing is impossible. Not reconciliation, not commitment, not love from the one you desire. Nothing. But you must stop living as though you are separate. You must stop treating the world as though it is happening to you. You must stop seeing the specific person as someone with power over your happiness. You are the power. You are the one imagining all of this. And the moment you accept that, the moment you step into that truth, everything you have been struggling for will come to you easily, naturally, because it is already yours in consciousness. Neville said, creation is finished. Everything you could ever want already exists. You are not creating something new. You are selecting from infinite possibilities the reality you wish to experience. And you select it by assuming it is already yours. So assume the person loves you, not as a hope, not as a technique, but as a fact. Live in that assumption. Walk in it. Sleep in it. Think from it, not about it. When a thought arises that contradicts it, do not fight the thought. Simply return to the assumption, gently, persistently, the way you would tune a radio back to the station you want to hear. Over time, that assumption will harden into fact. The person will text. The person will call. The person will return, or commit, or soften, or love you the way you have imagined. Because they must. They are your world pushed out, and you have changed your world by changing yourself. This is not manipulation. This is not control. This is the natural order of creation. Consciousness is the only reality, and your consciousness is the only one there is. Before we close, I want to leave you with one more thought. It is something Neville said often, and it is something I want you to carry with you, especially in the moments when doubt creeps in, when the old story tries to reassert itself, when you look at the physical evidence and it seems to contradict what you are imagining. He said, do not judge by appearances. The outer world is always the past, the result of old assumptions. It takes time for the outer world to catch up to your inner change. But it will. It must. Because the outer world has no power of its own. It is only a shadow, a reflection, an echo of your consciousness. So when you do not see the evidence yet, do not panic. Do not assume it is not working. Know that it is done in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality that matters. The evidence will come. The bridge of incidents will unfold. The person will change. But it begins within you, not out there. You are the operant power, not them, you. And once you truly accept that, once you live from that truth, you will realize that you were never powerless. You will realize that you were never powerless. You were never rejected. You were ever powerless. You were ever rejected. You were always the one in control, the one imagining it all, the one who could change it all with a single assumption. You are their world, and they are yours. As you go about your day, as you move through the hours ahead, I want you to practice thinking from the end, not about the end, but from it. What would you be thinking if this person already loved you? What would you be feeling? How would you move through the world? You would be feeling. How would you move through the world? You would be calm. You would be certain. You would not be checking your phone anxiously. You would not be checking your phone anxiously. You would not be replaying the past. You would simply know. Not tomorrow, not when they text, not when you see the evidence. Now, and tonight, when you close your eyes, construct that scene. Feel it real. Loop it until sleep takes you. Let it be the last impression on your consciousness. Do this, and you will see what Neville saw. You will prove what thousands of his students have proven, that you are not subject to another's will, that you are the one imagining it all, that you are the operant power in your world. I tell you, try it. Dare to assume it. Assume the love you desire is already yours. Assume the person already adores you. Do not wait for permission. Do not ask if it is possible. Know that it is, because consciousness is the only reality, and you are that consciousness. The world is yourself pushed out, and that includes the one you love. Go now and imagine boldly.